Many people do not fail loudly. They vanish quietly. The ugly part is that a person can lose their life while everyone thinks they are doing fine. Nobody throws a funeral for someone who still clocks in, pays rent, laughs at work, and says they are tired. They keep the job they hate because leaving sounds risky. Staying in the dead relationship feels easier than telling the truth and dealing with the damage. Routine becomes their hiding place, same food, same screen, same arguments, same weekend, same excuse. Modern comfort has pulled a dirty trick on people. It has turned cowardice into something that sounds reasonable. Dress it however you want, but sometimes the clean word is just fear wearing a better jacket. Failure hurts. Surrender moves in and starts charging rent. That is the difference. One bad attempt can embarrass you for a week. One avoided life can follow you into old age and sit beside your bed. The safe person rarely has one huge breaking point. Instead, they dodge one hard talk, skip one application, delay one workout, bury one idea, swallow one insult, and let the day pass. Years get folded into the same drawer. Then they look back and wonder where life went, as if someone stole it. No one stole it. Fear asked for small payments, and they kept handing them over. Our ancestors did not have the luxury of making endless mood boards for courage. A Norse farmer did not wait to feel inspired before fixing a roof. A sailor did not need perfect self-esteem before leaving shore. A trader did not ask the sea if this was the right season of growth. People moved because life pushed back hard, and waiting too long had a price. This does not mean the past was noble. Still, the old world had one honest feature: fantasy got corrected quickly. Today, a person can hide for decades and still look functional. Research backs up the obvious thing honest people already know. Fear changes behavior. Anxiety tends to shrink risk-taking. The body learns to avoid the uncertain thing, then the mind writes a speech explaining why avoidance was smart. At first, caution sounds wise. Later, caution becomes a leash. Eventually, the leash feels like part of your neck. Some people spend years preparing to start. They watch discipline videos with a bag of chips on the desk. Podcasts about courage play while one phone call stays avoided. Yet real life is still run by the same small fear from 5 years ago. Self-help becomes another cage when advice replaces movement. There is a point where another book is not preparation. It is hiding with better lighting. Truth is, they did not lose the war. Quietly, they signed peace papers with their own fear. Regret gets worse with age because the pain changes shape. A failed attempt hurts now. A thing never tried becomes a ghost. The rejected application, bad first video, awkward confession, failed business, ugly workout, and honest conversation all share one useful feature. They end the fantasy. Avoidance gives you nothing except a cleaner excuse. Here is the uncomfortable receipt. The safe person is not waiting because the plan is noble. They are waiting because waiting lets them feel clean. No bruises, no rejection. No proof that the fantasy was weak. That is why safe living feels so addictive. It keeps the ego untouched while the actual life shrinks. Nothing gets tested, so nothing has to be admitted. That sounds peaceful until you realize peace without movement is just a quiet form of rot. And rot always asks for more room when nobody challenges it. Years later, the question is still alive. Could I have done it? Would I have been good? What would have happened if I actually tried? That question becomes poison when it gets old. A person can survive embarrassment. A person can survive losing money. A person can survive being laughed at by people who are also scared. What breaks them later is knowing they spent their strongest years asking fear for permission. Regret does not kick the door open. It waits until the house is quiet. Comfort makes the whole thing worse because it never looks like defeat. The delivery bag does not ask why your gym bag is still unopened. The screen gives noise, drama, jokes, desire, enemies, outrage, advice, and fake progress. By midnight you feel like you lived through something. Actually, you watched other people live through things. That is the trick. Streaming gives rest without recovery. Scrolling gives movement without progress. Online arguments give battle without courage. Cheap dopamine makes the cage feel warm. A prison with soft pillows is still a prison. It just gets better reviews. This is where the Viking nonsense online becomes useful only if you strip away the costume. The useful part is older and harder. A person was judged by what they did. A name had to be earned. An oath mattered because words without action were trash. The Norse world did not care about your inner branding. Someone who only talked about crossing the sea was still standing on shore. Modern people can stand on shore for 20 years and call it strategy. Excuses make that strategy sound respectable. I'm being realistic. Now is not the right time. I need more money first. I need more confidence. I need to fix myself before I begin. Some of those concerns are real. A person with a family should not gamble rent money because some loud idiot online said winners go all in. Not every risk is noble. Some risks are just stupidity with a motivational quote taped on top. But there is a difference between avoiding dumb risk and avoiding every meaningful risk. The safe person often knows that difference. They just pretend they do not. Picture someone who said they would start a channel in January. February became research. March became bad timing. Summer became mental preparation. December became next year. 5 years later, they are still watching thumbnail tutorials for a video that does not exist. That is not patience. That is fear with a calendar. The internet makes this easier because it lets people become spectators of courage. You watch builders build. You watch fighters fight. You watch broke people rebuild. You watch unhealthy people get fit. You watch strangers speak, fail, sell, travel, train, and begin again. Then you close the app and return to the same room. Forums are full of people admitting they sat on ideas for months or years because they feared judgment, failure, ridicule, wasted time, or not being good enough. The replies often say what everyone knows but hates hearing. Not trying can feel worse than failing. Borrowed courage is cheap. Watching 1,000 people live is not experience. It is just attendance. Eventually, the performance works too well. They convince everyone they are stable. Then they wonder why nobody notices they are drowning. Nobody saves them because they look fine. Pew Research has found that men and women report similar loneliness and close friend numbers, but men are less likely to turn to friends, family, or professionals for emotional support. That matters here, but the deeper point is not limited to men. A person can disappear while still being visible. Inside, the walls move closer. Still, they have trained everyone to accept I'm fine as a full report. The saddest cage is the one nobody notices because the prisoner still pays taxes. Failure, ugly as it is, gives information. Avoidance gives fantasy. Apply and get rejected, and now you know something. Post the first video and watch it flop, and now the audience has answered. Ask the hard question and get the answer you feared, and now guessing stops. Walk into the gym weak, and weakness becomes measurable. Try the business and lose, and the market speaks without caring about your feelings. Reality can be cruel, but at least it answers. Avoid everything, and your brain builds a museum for an imaginary version of you, secretly talented, secretly strong, secretly capable, secretly dangerous, never tested. That imaginary version is comfortable because nobody can disprove it. Also, nobody can respect it. Imaginary talent does not build muscle, repair trust, pay debt, raise children, protect friends, or earn a name. This is the part modern culture hates. Identity is sold cheaper than evidence. Everybody wants the title without the trial. People want to be called disciplined without boring repetition. They want to be seen as strong without carrying weight. They want the saga without the sail, the feast without the hunt, the reputation without the oath. You cannot respect a version of yourself that never showed up. Without risk, self-image becomes fiction. Without attempts, confidence becomes costume. Without failure, wisdom becomes borrowed noise. Norse wisdom was not therapy written on a coffee mug. It told people to watch their words, keep friends carefully, stay alert, avoid foolish pride, and guard their name. That kind of advice is not soft. It assumes life will test you. Grounded adulthood has always needed proof, not performance. The old Norse idea of a good name still cuts because it asks a question modern comfort avoids. What did you actually do? Your ancestors were not perfect heroes. They were tired people with cold hands, bad teeth, debt, fear, hunger, and limited choices. Still, they moved because life did not reward endless waiting. Modern safety is better in many ways. Nobody serious should pretend famine, raids, plague, or early death were beautiful. But comfort becomes poison when it teaches a person to protect a life they no longer respect. So here is the breakdown without the fog. This is not about becoming reckless. It is about noticing when safe has become another word for dead. If safety took your strength, honesty, friendships, craft, body, courage, hunger, and voice, then what exactly did it save? The safe person does not wake up one morning inside a dramatic ruin. Nothing obvious went wrong. That is the brutal part. Fear simply asked for another day, and they kept saying yes. The real question is not whether failure might hurt. It might bruise your ego, drain your wallet, end the fantasy, and make people laugh. Recklessness is not the answer either. Stupidity wearing a helmet is still stupidity. The answer is responsible risk, honest action, and enough self-respect to stop letting fear write your biography. Ask yourself what fear has already taken while pretending to protect you. Count the conversations avoided, chances ignored, places never visited, skills never built, apologies never given, work never started, and names never earned. Missing pages become unpaid debts. Every quiet retreat becomes evidence of a person choosing less. A failed attempt can leave a scar, but a life never attempted leaves no mark at all.